Hello friends, this is Aryan. Today we are going to discuss about delta modulation. Now what is the importance of delta modulation is that it is a process where we convert an analog signal to digital data. Now what is the reason that we have come out of analog delta modulation is that for converting your analog signal to digital data, people used to have pulse code modulation, but the complexity associated with your pulse code modulation is very high. So to overcome that one, we have delta modulation for converting your analog signal to digital signal. In case of your pulse code modulation PCM, the output is your group of bits, whereas in delta modulation we generate stream of bits. And in delta modulation we have two steps. One is modulator at the sender side and demodulator at the receiver side. The modulator at the sender side takes the input as an analog signal, and with the help of comparator and delay unit and staircase maker, it generates digital data. And demodulator at the receiver end takes the input of digital data, and with the help of staircase maker and delay unit, it generates analog signal. Okay, now this delta means small positive or negative changes that occurs when an input signal is compared with an existing digital signal. Now before we get in detail, let us discuss how exactly your modulator work and demodulator work. This is what is the diagram of modulation technique in a delta modulation, where it takes an analog signal and this modulator creates a second signal that resembles a staircase. Then whenever an existing staircase signal and the signal created by the modulator is compared, if their difference is positive, then it generates bit 1. If their difference is negative, then it is going to generate 0. And in this way the modulator is going to work and it creates your digital data. Coming to demodulator, in this case the input here is your digital data, where the staircase maker with the help of delay unit generates a staircase signal, and this staircase signal is finally passed through a low pass filter to create your analog signal. And if you compare the quantization error associated with the delta modulation and the quantization error associated with PCM, then PCM has higher quantization error compared to delta modulation, and delta modulation is much more simpler as compared to your pulse code modulation. So these are the basic things about delta modulation and the working principle of your delta modulation. Then one more thing that we can discuss in delta modulation is that whenever the modulator creates a staircase signal, when it compares with an existing staircase signal, sometimes there is a chance of error, because there is no dynamicity in case of your existing staircase signal. So Depending upon the input analog signal, there should be an adaptive DM where it should create a staircase signal of dynamic in nature, where the staircase signal created by your modulator and the existing staircase signal should be compared in such a way that the bit or stream of bit that is generated out of modulator should be perfect. So the motive of telling all this thing is that normally delta modulation staircase signal never changes. So we need to employ an adaptivity in that delta modulation technique so that the staircase signal that is compared with each analog signal must be changing so that perfect bits will be generated. And this is all about delta modulation. This is brief. If you want more, you can write to me. You can subscribe my channel and like my channel. Thank you all.